A few minutes to talk a little bit about differentiation. It's probably no mystery that we're in a very competitive industry in the landscape industry, and we've studied our industry a great deal. We've also studied other industries to try to get an idea of how to differentiate ourselves, as companies. And we've met a lot of good companies, we've read about a lot of good companies across that time, but every now and then we seem to come across an exceptional company that has risen to market leadership in their respective industries. And we ask ourselves at the time, what is it about them that's allowed them to do that? They just seem to have a little something extra special about them. They seem to retain the highest level of employees. They seem to be growing when everybody else is static. And they seem to be making money when everybody else is struggling. They figured out something special, a special sauce that has enabled them to get to that position of prominence in their industry. And I guess there's no mystery that we're in a competitive industry, in the landscape industry. So is it possible for us to find a way to differentiate ourselves?
Right. What is it?
Yeah, I think we can.
What's the ingredient?
Right. Absolutely. And I think any industry can find the special sauce, the special ingredients that you need to rise to the top. It doesn't happen by accident. It's intentional. Let me give you an example of a couple of businesses that have figured out that special sauce. We're from the Atlanta area, and two businesses that I have personal contact with are Chick-fil-A, which is in the highly competitive fast food industry, and Quick Trip, which is in the highly competitive convenience store industry.
Right.
If you have Chick-fil-A in your market, this story will probably resonate with you as well. But Chick-fil-A was started by a guy named Truett Cathy back in the 40s after World War II. And Truett opened up a Southern cooking restaurant in Atlanta. And like any good Southern restaurant, they served
Fried chicken.
Yeah, of course, fried chicken. So Truett figured out after just a little bit of time that fried chicken created a little bit of an economic problem for him because it took too long to cook. And Truett couldn't turn his tables on a Friday, Saturday night fast enough to make the kind of money that he wanted to. So Truett figured out how to remove the bone from the chicken breast and allowed him to fully cook that chicken breast within 4 minutes consistently, time and time again, which was kind of the birth of the Chick-fil-A sandwich and the birth of his total success in the future as an entrepreneur. But today, Chick-fil-A has an impressive track record. They are about a $6 billion company. They have over 1,600 stores across the country and growing rapidly. Currently, Chick-fil-A is growing at about 15% a year, which allows them to double their store counts every 5 years.
Wow.
So very rapid growth. They also racked up some pretty impressive stats, including number one, annual in-store sales. Chick-fil-A leads the fast food industry in annual sales at about $3 million per store. McDonald's comes in at about 2.5, and Burger King and Arby's run in about 1.9 to 2 million. So they're absolutely leading the revenue charge. Chick-fil-A has also figured out how to build customer loyalty at the highest level. They currently are ranked as the highest customer loyalty of any other fast food chain, as ranked by the ACSI, which is the American Customer Service Index.
Okay.
So they're doing exceptional in the customer loyalty side. Additionally, they have the highest employee loyalty of any other fast food restaurant. So they have the lowest turnover, which equates to a higher profitability, more stability, and a better culture overall. And one of the most impressive stats of all is that they lead the industry in all these key categories, and they only work 15% less than everybody else in the industry because they're actually closed on Sunday.
Wow.
So while all of their competitors are open and they're working harder and working constantly 7 days a week, Chick-fil-A closes down, rests, and gets ready to beat their butt the next week as well.
Right.
So
Right.
it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
It is. Another organization that is always impressed me is Quick Trip. It's a convenience store chain that was started by a guy named Chester Camo years ago in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And Chester bought a little convenience store gas station. Started out small time, like most of us do.
Right.
Figured out over the years how to build an impressive organization. He actually got involved in the convenience store National Trade Association, similar to NALP or some of the organizations that we're involved in,
Right.
and learned a lot about the business of convenience stores. He actually, one of his mentors was a fellow who created the 7-Eleven store change, which at the time was already a multi-billion-dollar organization. But today, Chester has done a great job. Quick Trip actually, like Chick-fil-A, leads their industry in all the major categories, including revenue per person hour, which is kind of like our revenue per man hour. Again, they have the highest customer loyalty rating of any of the other convenience store chains, and they were voted by Forbes magazine as America's favorite convenience store chain, I think 3 years in a row.
Wow.
So pretty impressive. And then finally, like any great organization, they managed to retain their employees at a higher rate than any of their competition as well, which is a testimony to the type of organization that they are. So again, two examples of businesses in highly competitive industries that have figured out how to lead the industry, how to differentiate themselves above the competition. So the question is, how do they do it?
Right.
You know,